Europa Universalis 4 is a grand strategy game developed by Paradox Development Studios. It released on the 13th of August 2013. Yet 7 years on, the game is as popular as ever and has just received its biggest expansion yet in the Emperor DLC. The game is patched regularly and has gone through more changes than it is possible to count. At the time of recording, I have 268 hours in game in EU4, which is by far the most of any Paradox game in my library. In this video I will try to explain how EU4 achieves this infinite replayability. The game starts in 1444, right after the tragedy at Varna, the last crusade when King Władysław II, ruler of Poland and Hungary, was killed in battle by the Ottomans. Although you can choose a custom start date of any year up to the end of the game at 1821. What makes this game fantastic is that you can play as any nation in the entire world. From the colonial powers of Europe, to the Ming Empire of China, to the Aztecs of America. This freedom to roleplay as a nation and the ability to rewrite history is a magnificent feeling. Taking the Roman Empire, now confined to a couple of provinces in Greece, from the doorstep of death, smashing through the Ottomans and restoring its glory, is my favourite campaign. The main feature of the game is war and expansion. There are other diplomatic and economic ways to expand, but war is by far the most common way. Although you can't simply declare war for any reason, as your country will take a stability hit which will increase social unrest, army morale, as well as a bucketload of other negative effects, as well as accumulating massive aggressive expansion which will decrease your neighbour's opinion of you and could even result in a military coalition forming against you to force you to return unlawfully gained provinces. Although in some circumstances declaring a no casus belli war can be beneficial, such as to conquer a faraway land to gain its resources, or because you have no expansion routes next to your nation. However, in many situations it is still better to gain a casus belli, which simply put means a justification of war. There are many ways to do this, such as if the target borders you, or if it's only one sea tile away, then you can build a spy network and fabricate a claim on the province. There are many other casus belli, such as the excommunication CB, which is gained when a Catholic nation offends the Pope or the Curia controller to the point where the ruler gets thrown out of the Catholic Church. This gives all other Catholic nations a CB to invade. There are other non-annexation CBs as well, such as the trade conflict CB, which allows you to target the enemy's trade income. The diplomatic insult CB, which you get if a nation insults you. It allows you to humiliate your opponent, which increases your prestige, power projection, as well as the ability to take all their money. There are also mission CBs, which are the most powerful in the game and unique to some nations. For example, upon attacking Novgorod, Muscovy gains a claim on large stretches of their land, which makes conquest and incorporation into your nation much easier. These missions often follow some historical events or past borders, such as the Reconquest CBs or the Byzantine Empire, which gives them claims across Anatolia, the Balkans, the Levant and Egypt. Combat in EU4 deserves praise as it is accessible to newcomers due to its relatively simple controls, yet it is more nuanced than it appears, as it has a lot of underlying mechanics that result in deep gameplay experience. There are three types of army units: infantry, cavalry and artillery. There are many different variants of these that progress with technological advances throughout the game. They have increased stats compared to the older units. Each unit has different uses and stats for the different battle categories. The categories are shock, fire, maneuver and siege. Shock is the first factor in the battle. Cavalries have higher shock stats. Fire is the subsequent battle phase. Cannons have the highest fire stats, while infantry are by far the cheapest and are mostly average but useful cannon fodder. However, cannons are only unlocked later on when you get to reach Military Tech 7. Finally, each army and navy can be led by a general or admiral, which give the army bonuses. A general is responsible for the army's maneuver, which affects its movement speed, and retreat abilities, as well as an army siege stat, which affects efficiency with which it sieges down a fort. Navies consist of 4 main ship classes: Heavy, Bark, Galley, and Cog. The Heavy Carrack is the most expensive and powerful battleship and contains the most cannons and sailors. It has the largest blockade ability. Next is the Bark, a fast ship used to protect trade routes. The Galley is a small, cheap warship that is particularly useful in inland seas, such as the Baltic and Mediterranean. Finally, the Cog is just a transport ship. The Admiral is identical to the General, except the stats are adjusted for naval warfare. One of the more controversial aspects of EU4 is the political power system, or mana as it is often called. There are 3 different power points: administrative, diplomatic, and military. They can be used for a wide variety of actions, such as province development, core creation in conquered provinces, rebel suppression, and a variety of others. The primary use of these points is for technologies and ideas. Technologies give a variety of different buffs, from trade efficiency to infantry combat ability to cavalry shock. Technologies also give access to buildings, such as churches, which increase tax income, marketplaces, which increase trade, barracks, which increase manpower, as well as stronger forts. Idea groups are a set of related buffs that you are able to choose every couple of admin techs. They allow you to specialize into a playstyle that suits you. For example, choosing diplomatic techs as the Austrian Habsburgs helps you keep your vassals under control, as well improving your diplomatic reputation. Or choosing naval ideas as England greatly improves their strength and cost of their ships. Additionally, there are national ideas, which work similar to regular idea groups, except they are unique to specific countries based on their historical achievements. For example, the French get a bonus to morale of their infantry, while the Polish get a large buff to cavalry combat ability. The major countries have an in-depth mission tree, which allows for very interesting playthroughs. My personal favourite is Austria, as you start as Holy Roman Emperor, and their missions allow you to force personal unions on Bohemia and Hungary very early, while managing the constantly squabbling princes and electors is very interesting. Now on to the most polarizing topic amongst the entire community: DLC. At the time of recording, there are 33 different DLCs available, and they are by no means cheap. If you want to own the complete game, expect to pay into the hundreds of euro. I personally own most of the major expansions except Dharma, Emperor, and Cradle of Civilization, although I never paid full price for a DLC, as they always go on sale for 50% off during regular Steam sales. The cosmetic armor packs are completely unnecessary to buy, as although they look cool, they should be included in the base game. I wish that Paradox would retroactively implement the Stellaris DLC model, which is much more reasonable with rare, larger expansions. Yet the game's ability to continuously draw players in after all of these years, despite its flaws and egregious DLC model, is a testament to the quality of the game and its ridiculously fun gameplay loop.